On today's episode, I just go on a rant. I'm so frustrated with the way things have gone. I just had to get it off my chest, so let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Elite Outcome Academy. Today's episode is a rant. I am so frustrated with so many things, and I just thought I would share my perspectives with what is going on in the world today. So, we have so many broken systems and so many broken families and so many bent people. I will call systems and things broken, but I only call people bent because we can all be straightened out. Nobody is really broken. If you're watching this video, you are just merely bent, and you might feel like you are so far bent out of shape that you don't know how to recover from it. I seen a video the other day that showed this machine that they were sticking all bent rebar through, and it sucked the rebar in, and it came out the other end straightened out. And that is a very difficult task to accomplish. However, Elite Outcome Academy is that machine for people. It is the machine that you can go through and come out straightened out on the other end. How do I know this? Because I created it for me first. I talk about it all the time, and I'll probably mention it in every video forever and ever, that I created Elite Outcome Academy for me first. I needed to become an elite version of me compared to who I used to be, and that will never stop. This will continue forever until the day I die. I will continue to level up into another elite version of me every single time I need to. Why? Because of what I talked about in the beginning of the video here. The systems that we have are so incredibly broken. Our family structures are so broken. Our work environments are so broken. No one has the confidence to really move forward and become who they want to be, because every which way they turn, they are presented with a roadblock, with an obstacle, with frankly, an opportunity. If you're joining me here for this episode for Elite Outcome Academy, they're all really opportunities. But the problem is most people don't see them as opportunities. Most of you watching this don't see them as opportunities. And a matter of fact, until just a few years ago, I only seen them as obstacles. I only seen the person in my way, or the person being rude, or the fear that I had, or the thought processes, or the victimhood. I just thought they were all issues, when I realized they were all opportunities for me to grow and become better. I came to realize that I had such an immense skill set, an immense tool set, and I couldn't believe it. And then I did a deep dive over the last few years to really restructure this and turn it into something that is helpful for everyone else as well. We have to heal these structures, and the only way we can do so is through confidence and through self-esteem and self-belief and authenticity in each and every individual, being confident and being able to take on leadership roles and responsibilities that they've always been afraid of, that you have always been afraid of, that I was always afraid of. I'm not afraid anymore, and I'm here to lead as an example. I'm here to lead as a coach, advisor, mentor. I'm here to do what needs to be done in order to have an impact on the rest of this world, and we need you to join. You know, for a long time I sat and thought about how things can become constructed and destructed. Obviously, construction takes time, it takes process. This is why the systems that I've created here with the Academy are over time. Destruction can happen instantly. Let's take a look of a house. When we build a house, it takes time. It takes time because you have to order materials. The materials have to be delivered. The labor has to be put together. Skilled labor has to be put together. Teams have to be built. Plans have to be made. And if things don't go right, it delays the process. Things are always going to go sideways one way or another. This is the bent part. However, to destruct a house in a few hours' time with a bulldozer and some good trucks, dump trucks, you can tear a house down, completely remove it from the lot that it was built on in just a few hours. Where it took weeks, months, maybe even years to build a home, in just a few hours' time, potentially a few days at most, it can be completely deleted and gone. This is good news. This means in a short amount of time, you can delete and get rid of old habits and behaviors while taking the time to construct new ones. This is replacement. We have to replace the way the system has destroyed our families, destroyed our homes, destroyed our environments, destroyed our confidence. You have to become personally excellent in order to have any influence on the way things are. You know that probably 95% of your life you're miserable in because it has all come down into a trickle effect. All of the roadblocks, all of the missed opportunities, all of the times you were scared, all of the things that have ever held you back that come into a reflection into your own home. It makes you feel like a bad parent. It makes you feel like you don't even have control over your own environment, because if you can't control the rest of the environment, why even bother controlling your own? Well, let's talk about what it takes to make some change in that. We have to change it first in the home. The home environment is the first and foremost place that these things have to be recalibrated. Because if you can stand on your own 2 feet within your own foundation, within your own 4 walls, then you have the capability to then move and transfer those skills and those mindsets into other places and opportunities. At work, in public, school, whatever it is. We have to get you built up to be confident first in your environment, in who you are. You have to become self-identifiably confident and full of self-esteem. I, even just a few months ago, didn't have this level of confidence to get on video and talk to you in this manner. I had the ideas, I had the opinions, I had the philosophies and the structures and the systems, but I did not have the confidence. But I was constructing over time, and really as a blessing of many, many, many years, decade plus, of building this type of confidence. But it was only just a matter of a few weeks ago where I really broke out, because I was able to have the confidence in where I stand, the places that I stand, the 2 feet of space that I consume at all times, and then the environments that spread out from there. And I did it by diving into a system that allowed me to identify over time and establish and solidify the skills and the characteristics, the traits and the behaviors that I've always dreamed of having. You see, I see other men and they emulate the exact characteristics that I want to have. And no single one of them has all of them, but the ones that have the specific things that I desire, I decided to start reaching out to obtain them. I'll give you a story. And this story has to do with becoming the man that I am, and it's advice for you. There's a man that I go to church with, and I cannot help but to be magnetized towards this man's energy. He's much older than me, and he's developed these characteristics over his lifetime. And a man of service, a man of light, a man of stature that allows him to stand tall, and a man of pure, authentic confidence. Not egotistical confidence, authentic confidence. So I approached him. I don't know him very well, but I approached him and I said, hey, I got to come shake your hand. And I got to tell you that I really appreciate the example that you put out into the world for the man that you are and who you have become and who you have built yourself into over your lifetime. It's an example to me, and it makes me feel like I can do it too. Whoa, scary. It's a scary situation, but I did it because it gave me so many layering lessons, right? Pushing through the fear, complimenting a man on becoming an example of what it means to be a man. He has a beautiful family, and they're talented, and they're energetic, and they're willing to put themselves out as examples. This is what we need. I was reflecting on my own example as a father just a few years ago when my children were still very small. They're still very young, but they were very small. And I was terrible. Oh man, was I terrible. I was not a good dad. I was a good protector and a good, hey, let's stay within the boundaries, but I was terrible. I made sure they got to bed when they needed to, barely. I made sure they ate not well. I was grumpy and angry and emotional, and I was not a good example of what it is that I'm talking about today. This is how I know what I'm talking about. Because my kids, their attitudes, their perspectives, the way that they have become little leaders full of confidence and self-esteem over the last few years, a lot has to do with their mother as well. But just in my example and who I am and what I've become, I did really hard intentional work over the last few years on making sure that I was getting rid of the anticipations that I was seeing in my children's faces. How is dad showing up today? Is he grumpy? Is he playful? And what I've done is I've utilized all of my behaviors and characteristics as strengths and tools. So now instead of, grumpy old dad that's just yelling and can't deal, I shifted that energy into them understanding when I mean business without having to yell, without having to cower down. You see, this is the thing. I didn't lose the leader part of me that didn't know how to lead correctly. I became a leader that can lead correctly. I wanted to be a father that leads his children, but I was doing it in an authoritative, authoritarian type manner. Not good. Yelling, screaming, punishing, taking things away, sitting here, do that, just unreasonable behavior. But what I did was, okay, I had to think about this. If I just let it go and stop being intense, so we can use intensity in different forms, then I become a coward or a shell of who I want to become. And then my kids get to run me over. Well, that's not happening either. So I shifted. I started to apologize. I started to explain. And I started to make deals and corrections. And I started to make sure that I was vocalizing when I was wrong. And that I still mean business as your father. As the father to my children, I still mean business because it is my job to train you children into becoming responsible, confident, leadership-filled adults. In whatever way they choose, right? I don't mean being who I am as a leader. I mean being who you are as a leader. And I mean this for you as well. As you shift and you become somebody that is an elite version of you, you can become a leader in the version that you are, because leadership isn't about this intensity that I bring. It's about authentic confidence. When you cannot be shaken away from what you know because you have mastered it. You have mastered it in knowledge, body language, vocal language, communication. You have been able to get to a place where you know full in and full out who you are as an individual in this space. And this takes time because there are many spaces that we consume in life. We consume it in education. We consume it in our physical appearance and health. We consume it as a parent, as a coworker, as a boss. We have so many areas of development. And the program is meant to do it one space at a time. You see, when you shift from having one area of confidence in 10 of non-confidence, and you shift to having 5 or 6 of confidence and 4 your life changes. Your life absolutely and completely changes. And I promise you that this is what you need and want to do. Because there's something inside of you telling you that it's necessary. There's something inside of you telling you that this is what has to happen. Because if you don't, you are still a chain in the link of generational trauma, of children that grow up to be adolescent adults. I did a video on this just recently where I talked about childlike behavior, adolescence, and maturity. Go watch it so you can understand what I mean. You're going to have children that grow up not having a skill set or an understanding of the world, or you have been in this same position for a very long time. And you know that you have to change. You have to shift away from it. This is what I knew and why I created this academy, because what I needed to be able to do so did not exist. The frameworks, the structures, the philosophies, the ideas, the systems didn't exist. This is part of God's work in my life. What is it in yours? What is your life's formulation? What does it bring you to? What is the authentic, confident version of you? It does not matter the category. It does not matter as long as it's ethical and moral and not grotesque and there's a lot of people that are really good at a lot of bad things. Trust me, I used to be one of them as well. Grew up as a street kid. Anyway, we have to heal at the family, at the home level first. I'm very passionate about this. Everything that I do has to do with healing and changing the way that we raise our homes. It starts with us as individuals in personal, excellent structures. I'll give you this example before I go. I have a meter, which is the Bedros Keuilian meter. If you haven't watched him or listened to him, go check him out. Bedros Keuilian has been an insane inspiration into what I talk about. But He talks about becoming the 2.0 version of you, the 1.0 to 2.0 version of you. And I put a meter in there. I go from 1.1 to 1.2 to 1.3 to 1.4 to 1.5 to 1.6 and so forth. And then I reset. And sometimes I've gotten from 1.0 to 1.3 in just a couple of days. And then I get, I'm revving right there at 1.3 until something else comes along that proves to me that I need to level up, level up, level up. And I do this over and over and over again. And I don't do it as an overall meter. I do it in every subject of life. I do it as a parent. I do it as a developer for these systems. I do it as a studier of psychology and philosophy and all of the things that I love to study. I do it as a person in relationships, both private and public. I do it in business. I do it in all categories of my life. I keep a meter. It's not a meter that I write down. I just have it. And when challenges present themselves in all of those different categories, there's an opportunity, not a roadblock. Does this make sense? What is it that you need to work on in your life? If you're interested, there's probably a link below this video. I don't know if there is yet or not because I'm still developing all of this, and I don't know if I came back to this specific video and put it underneath there, but if there's not a link underneath this video, there's sure a link somewhere where you can get plugged into the system that I've created in order for you to go step by step, block by block, with accountability, partnership, with a group atmosphere through Elite Outcome Academy. We're going to go by system, environments, both physical, mental, emotional. We're going to go through past experience and extract the skill sets out of past behaviors, current behaviors that can actually help you level up into becoming the next version of you without having to forego who you have been. If you just let go of who you were, you end up in an identity crisis, and we cannot do that because you will revert quicker than you can construct a new you. We go through trauma, how to deal with trauma. We go through so many different things to help you become the next best version of you. And this is something that we have to commit to doing. I am no longer a victim of my past. I am actually very proud now today of my current behaviors and characteristics. And I want to help you get there as well. I'm excited to be your coach and your leader as we go along this process. And I promise you that if you stick around long enough, you'll be able to look at yourself authentically in the mirror and smile at the version that you have become. With that being said, become elite. Oh, hey. Almost forgot. No, I didn't. Find somebody to be kind to today.